D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So I watched Blood Red Sky, and I'm going to review that movie for you today. But before I do that, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithms. Small channels like mine usually get pushed to the back of the line. So I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe. And I thank you in advance. So why don't we go ahead and get started on this review for Blood Red Sky, which is streaming now on Netflix. So I suggest you guys hop over there and watch it because I thought it was a good time. This is directed by Peter Thorwarth, and it's starring Roland Moller, Perry Bumestier, Shadi Ajufo, Alexander Shear, and Dominic Purcell. I hope I said all of those people's names right because I feel bad if I don't. Now, the premise for this is when a group of terrorists hijack an overnight transatlantic flight, a mysterious ill woman must unleash a monstrous secret to protect her young son. Now, I just want to say, first off, I really did enjoy this movie. I thought it was super fun, a little gory, a little, scary, kind of a little scary. And I was shocked that I liked it. Like I after watching it, I was like, you know what, that was a good time. And I was completely shocked by it. Almost like as if it invigorated the vampire genre, because I feel like when it comes to vampires, usually they just do the same old tropes or they do stuff that's really stupid. Now, and they do tropes like, the whole blood drinking thing, but they do one thing that I'm going to talk about in a minute that I actually kind of liked. Now I thought the trailer for this, I thought it looked stupid. I thought it looked small. I thought it looked cheap. And when it comes to movies like this, where it takes place in one specific area, I usually find those movies to be boring. I mean, sometimes the writing is so good that you're just like, oh, it was really good. But I always harken back to the movie Photo Booth with Colin Farrell. And that movie, I was like, oh, this movie could have been 20 minutes long. And that's it. Because it was just like so long. And I'm all like, how long are we going to do this for? But this movie did not, for me, feel long at all. I really liked it. I thought it was really, like I said, fun. Very, very good vampire movie and everything. I have to say that as a parent, my favorite scene, it spoke to me a lot, was that okay, so the main character in this, her name is Nadia. And Nadia gets bitten by a vampire in her past and everything. And I'll just give you an overview of the movie. So she gets bit by a vampire when her son is a baby, and her husband gets killed by the vampire. And so then she becomes a vampire, but she goes back to and these are all in flashbacks, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But these are all in flashbacks. And then she goes back to the house that she got bitten at, and she finds medicine there. I don't remember what the name of the medicine is. It doesn't even matter. And then there's an old man there. He's like, you killed my son. Because the vampire that bit her, she like had it stay outside. So then it got caught up in the sun and died. But he's like, you killed my son. And she's like, he bit me and everything. And he's all like, we can't let this curse go on anymore. And he tries to kill her, but then she gets the jump on him and kills him. And then she sets the house on fire. So she's the only one with vampirism that we know of. Now, then she gets on a plane because she's going to go from what it looks like London to, and they're not, I think from Germany, because this is a German movie, but they go from London to New York, where she's going to oversee like a bone marrow transplant, because everybody thinks she's got leukemia, but really she's a vampire. Now, back to what I was saying. One of my favorite scenes was, as a parent, was the baby Elias. He is a baby and he's crying, and she comes home and the neighbor's all like, hey, the baby's been crying for 2 hours. Is everything okay? And first off, I was like, Nadia, you're a bad parent, because who leaves their baby alone for 2 hours? That's called neglect, honey. Don't do that. That's bad. But then she's trying to get the milk ready for the baby and everything. And she's freaking out because she's hungry, because she's a vampire and everything. And the baby's crying, and she turns around and goes full vampire, and she's like, ah, and the baby's like, ah. and everything. I was like, oh, who hasn't been? Nah, yeah, I've been there before where you're just like, please just stop crying. I will buy you anything. Please stop and everything. So I got a little chuckle out of that because I was like, oh, what parent hasn't been there when you're just like, please shut up for 2 minutes and everything. So now what I didn't like was it kind of took oh, I already mentioned that. Okay. One thing that they did do in this was the teddy bear at the end, when Elias, his name is Elias, but I'm going to call him Alias because who names their kid Elias? It's so obnoxious. I call him Alias all the time. Anyways, Elias has a teddy bear at the end, and he's all like, I need my teddy bear. And I'm all like, oh, the teddy bear is going to play a big part in this. And it did. He had the command switch in there to blow up the plane. So going over a few things that I liked, and these are some things that this first thing is something that I liked, but I didn't like, is Nadia's wig. I did like it because I was like, oh, it's fantastic because it looks like a wig and you can tell, but at the same time I was all like, oh honey, I could tell that's a wig. You need to spend just a couple more bucks on a real hair. just get some real hair wigs. Like, come on, there's better wigs out there. But at the same time I loved it because I was like, oh, this is just a big mess, and who doesn't love a big mess? The kid actor that played Elias, his name is Carl Anton Koch. He did a fantastic job. I liked him as an actor. He really did a good job as that. Usually I don't like child actors. I find them annoying and they're not talented. I mean, you do get like a Jacob Tremblay that's very talented, but those are a dime a dozen. I mean, like you can't find those or a needle in a haystack, whatever the term is. Those you can't find very often, but this kid did a good job. I think he did a fantastic job, and hopefully he gets more work. I thought that the vampire look was good. I liked how they did. It looked like they spent some money on the practical effects of it and the makeup and the prosthetics and everything, because I really liked it. And I liked her and the other vampires on the plane. I thought that they did a really good job there. Especially with what is his name? Marvin. I don't remember the crazy guy. We're just gonna call him Psycho because I don't remember his name, and I didn't write it down in my notes. So the gore. I liked the gore. I thought they did a good job when she takes a bite of that dude and just pulls a chunk out of him. I thought that was good. I thought that, I thought that when the one psycho guy got set on fire, I thought that was good. I really liked that. And then the makeup again, they did a good job with that. And then there was a part where another passenger, he gets hit with a alcohol cart, and his lungs, you can see the lungs, which is another thing that to speak to the makeup on it, he's got protruding rib cage, and the doctor on board can't save him because he's got internal bleeding. So instead of him wanting to die, he goes and lets the bad guy, the psycho vampire, out of his out of the lower compartments, and he's like, bite me, I don't want to die. And I'm all like, what, you want to be that for the rest of your life? Like, I mean, is death really that bad? Vampirism doesn't sound like fun at all. It doesn't sound like fun, especially these kind of vampires, because once they had blood, they were just basically animals. Like, they were just like, that's all they wanted was blood. And so I feel like that's another reason why I feel like this movie kind of invigorated the vampire genre. I liked that they explain that she's trying to stop her cravings, and that's what I mentioned before. She got the drugs and the medicine from that old man's cabin, and she was shooting it into her heart, and it was some kind of medicine to slow down / stop her cravings. And I really liked that a lot. I liked how they explained that. Now, here's some things that I didn't like. Oh, and then I'll get back to one more scene that I really, really like too, but I want to talk about the things I didn't like. I watched this. I'm going to say right now, watch this with subtitles, not dubbing, because I watched it with the dub and it didn't come off good, in my opinion. Like, the whole time I'm just like, oh, this kid is not emoting the emotion in his voice. He's got, like, his emotions were like not happy, but his voice sounded very happy to me. Like, he's like, no, mom, don't eat them, mom. But his face was all like, and everything, and I'm all like, yeah, the dubbing sucks. So watch it. I normally watch them in in their native language, but I didn't have time for that because then I have to watch it twice because I usually take some time to read and then I have to go back and watch and everything. So I didn't like that the mom didn't survive the whole movie. She died. She ends up dying in the explosion at the end when the kid, he gets out of the ambulance. He's got the remote for the bomb on the plane in his teddy bear. That's why it was a callback from before. And he hits the button and the plane explodes. And because his mom, he sees his mom and he's like, Mom. And he can tell that she's no longer there. She's full on vampire. There's no coming back. And he blows up the plane, kills all the vampires. And he gets pushed back like hardcore because he's super close to the plane when he explodes it. And that's another thing I didn't like. You would not survive that explosion. I read an article somewhere, and if you need me to find it for you, I will do that. Just comment in the comment section down below, but I'll put it in the description. Or in the pin comment, but I read somewhere that if you stand too close to an explosion, you can survive the initial explosion, but when you go to the hospital and everything, you're just running on adrenaline because basically your insides have been turned to mush and everything, like because you're just too close and the force of it, it impacts your insides and everything. So now on some other things, one question that I had the whole time, I was like, what are the terrorist goals in this movie? Because I didn't understand that the whole time. I'm just like, do they have a goal? What is that goal? I mean, like, are they trying to just blow the plane up and blame somebody? Somebody suggested that they were trying to help some terrorist group. Someone on the plane suggested they were trying to crash the market in London or whatnot. And the whole time I'm just like, okay, well, which one of those is true? Because I'm like, I don't like these kind of questions that I have at the end of this. So then one thing that I really, really like when she kills the old man, I don't know if I like this, but when she kills the old man in the cabin, the father of the son that bit her, she really smashes the crap out of his head. And I'm like, yeah, this is the part where the gore and the effects come in, because it was obviously practical effects. And I really appreciate that stuff. I really like practical effects because it makes you think. And it makes you put the effort into it and work and everything. And if it doesn't turn out, you're just like, man, I could have done better. But it just, for me personally, I just really love practical effects. I really think that it's an art form that I think is going away, and I wish it wasn't. Or if it's not going away, it's slowing down like to a crawl and everything. And I really wish it wasn't. Now, there is a character in here that I wrote down, and I don't know his name. I'm trying to figure out which one he is, but I'm looking at because I looked it up. I think it's Alexander. Oh, Robert. 8-Ball. 8-Ball was his name. Now I know. Okay, so they called him 8-Ball. But he was a crazy person. He was psychotic and everything. But I loved this character. He was so crazy. I just loved all 10 shades of crazy that he was bringing. I just loved it and I'll get to my favorite scene with him. But like when he kills the air marshals, he's all like, he's got the knife to the one air marshal's eye. And he's all like, where's the third one? And I'm all like, don't tell him, he's going to kill you no matter what. And then they kill the third air marshal. And then he just stabs him right in the eye. And then he just keeps stabbing him, and then he's covered in blood, and he just goes out to the passengers. He's like, nothing to worry about. Everything's fine. Calm down and everything. And I'm all like, everything is not fine. You look like a scene from Psycho. Everything is not fine. And then my favorite scene was with him when he gets a syringe full of vampire blood. And he locks himself into this car, and Nadia tries to shoot at him, but the windows are bulletproof. So then he's sitting there. So then she tries to jab at one of the holes that she created with the bullets. And she pokes a hole in it with this big rod, and she tries to stab him. But that doesn't work because he just grabs it and pulls it through and everything. So then he sticks himself with the vampire blood. And so she's all like, I got to do something. So she goes and grabs a bottle of vodka, and she just dumps it in the hole. And he's like freaking out because he can't do anything, because he's all like seizuring and stuff. Like he's all like, and everything. And he's turning into a vampire. So this is the opportunity that she has when he can't do anything. So she dumps in the bottle of vodka, and then she throws a match in and sets him on fire. And I was like, oh, because, the whole time she was shooting at him, he's all like, oh, you stupid. You can't shoot me. I'm in this car. And then when the bottle was going, you could tell in his face, he's all like, oh, crap, I can't do anything. I'm like literally immobile right now. And then he got set on fire. And I was like, oh, who messed up now? Dum-dum. Because now you're all, 8-Ball, crispy ball, more like it and everything. So overall, I thought this movie was really great. I thought it was super fun. It was one of the best vampire movies I've seen in a long time. I really liked it. I thought it, like I said, invigorated the vampire genre, and I just really liked all of it. I really just loved, the whole thing. So I would suggest going to watch it. It's on Netflix right now. If you have a Netflix a subscription, it's free to watch. If you don't have a Netflix subscription, I guess you could sail the seven seas. But I mean, like, there's more than just that to watch on Netflix. So I say just go get a subscription. And you guys can tell me what you guys thought about this movie. Did you like this movie? Did you not like this movie? What was your favorite part? You go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go to the like button. I won't mind. And if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on the next movie review. You guys have a good day. Bye.